The SS Waratah vanished in 1909 without leaving a single trace behind. Over a century later, the ocean still guards the truth, making it one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in maritime history. The mystery of the SS Waratah. In the early 20th century, when steamships ruled the oceans and explorers believed the world was finally becoming predictable, a single mysterious disappearance shook the confidence of sailors everywhere. This was the story of the SS Waratah, a ship that left port with over 200 souls and vanished forever. The Waratah was built in Scotland in 1908 for the Blue Anchor Line. It was named after the red Waratah flower of Australia, symbolizing strength and beauty. For many, the ship represented progress, modern engineering, and trust in human innovation. At 465 feet long and powered by strong triple expansion engines, the Waratah was not only a cargo ship but also a luxurious passenger liner. Its cabins were comfortable, and its dining rooms resembled those of a grand hotel. People aboard the Waratah's final journey included wealthy businessmen, families returning to England, sailors seeking new opportunities, and migrants hoping to begin a fresh life across the world. For most of them, it was just another voyage. The Waratah had already completed a few successful trips between England, Australia, and South Africa. But during one of those early journeys, some passengers reported something strange. The ship swayed too much during high winds. A ship that rolls excessively can become dangerous. Some sailors believed the Waratah was top-heavy, meaning too much weight was placed high above the waterline, making it unstable in rough seas. However, the company dismissed these concerns, and even proud comments appeared in newspapers describing the Waratah as unsinkable. Those words would soon become haunting. In July 1909, the Waratah set off from Sydney, stopping at Melbourne, Adelaide, and then making its way along the South African coast. Everything seemed normal, and no one suspected disaster. On July 25, the ship arrived in Durban, South Africa. Here, a few passengers made last-minute decisions, some disembarked, claiming the ship felt unstable. Later, they would thank fate for saving their lives. On July 26, 1909, the Waratah departed Durban, heading to Cape Town. Weather reports indicated rough conditions were expected, but the crew believed the ship was strong enough to handle it. The Clan McIntyre, a smaller steamer, followed behind the Waratah for several hours that day. Crew members noted that the Waratah appeared stable, moving smoothly across the water. But as evening approached, the Clan McIntyre lost visual contact. The Waratah disappeared behind the horizon. No one thought this would be the last time a human eye would ever see the ship. When the ship failed to arrive at Cape Town, ports remained optimistic, assuming delays. But after days passed with no sign, worry began spreading. Search operations started immediately. Dozens of ships scanned the coastline, hoping to find lifeboats, debris, or survivors. The ocean, however, gave up nothing. The most disturbing aspect was the absence of a distress signal. The Waratah was equipped with wireless telegraphy. If trouble had occurred, the captain should have sent a message. But nothing was heard. This led experts to believe the disaster happened suddenly, so fast that the crew had no time to react. But even if the sinking was sudden, at least some floating debris should have been found. Yet the sea remained silent, hiding every clue beneath its surface. Theories began emerging. One of the most popular suggested the Waratah was destroyed by a gigantic rogue wave, a rare but extremely powerful wall of water that can rise over 25 meters high. Rogue waves strike without warning, even in calm seas. If the Waratah encountered such a wave, the impact could have rolled and sunk the ship instantly. Another theory was that the ship's design made it too unstable. If the top-heavy structure shifted during rough weather, the ship could have capsized within minutes. But again, this explanation does not solve the mystery of the missing wreckage. Eyewitness reports also complicated the case. A few days after the disappearance, Captain Lindemann of the ship Tottenham claimed he saw what looked like a large ship tilting dangerously in heavy seas. He described waves smashing against the vessel, almost rolling it over. Moments later, it vanished behind a curtain of rain. Lindemann believed it was the Waratah. However, weather experts later questioned the report, arguing visibility was poor and the ship could have been someone else's. Still, the description matched all earlier fears about Waratah's instability. As the months passed, families grew desperate. Many wrote letters to newspapers begging for help. Others pleaded with the government to send more ships to search the coastline. Some relatives even turned to psychics, hoping for answers from supernatural visions. Stories circulated about dreamlike warnings and ghostly appearances of the missing ship. Meanwhile, the shipping company struggled under heavy criticism. Lawsuits, insurance issues, and public anger forced them to answer difficult questions. Investigations were launched. Expert committees re-examined the ship's design, weight distribution, and cargo. Witnesses were interviewed. But despite months of study, no conclusion was solid enough to end the debate. Years passed, and explorers continued searching for the wreck. Many believed the Waratah lay somewhere along the Agulhas Current, a powerful, fast-moving current that can pull ships far into the open ocean. If the ship sank there, the wreck may have dropped into the deep-sea trenches thousands of meters below, where no human or submarine could reach. In the late 20th century, technology improved. Deep-sea scanning and sonar systems gave researchers hope. Several expeditions were launched across the South African coast. One discovery in 1999 created huge excitement. A wreck was found deep underwater, and early reports suggested it was the Waratah. But after careful comparison, experts realized it did not match the ship's dimensions. Disappointment returned, and the mystery remained unsolved. Some modern scientists propose an explosive theory, that coal dust or gas may have ignited inside the cargo hold, causing a massive internal blast that instantly destroyed the ship. Explosions of this kind have sunk ships before, leaving little to no floating debris. If this happened to the Waratah, it could explain the silence and the lack of evidence. Other researchers believe the answer lies in a combination of factors: unstable design, heavy cargo, rough seas, and a deadly current, all working together in the worst possible moment. Still, none of these theories can be confirmed until the wreck is found. Without physical evidence, the Waratah remains trapped between fact and legend. For over a century, the Waratah has inspired books, documentaries, investigations, and countless theories. Each attempt brings hope, but the ocean keeps its secrets. Today, it stands as one of the greatest unsolved maritime mysteries in history, alongside the disappearances of the Mary Celeste and the USS Cyclops. The Waratah was more than a ship. It carried dreams, families, and futures, all swallowed by a single moment that no one witnessed. And so the question continues to echo across time: what really happened to the SS Waratah? A storm? A rogue wave? A design flaw? An explosion? Or something still unknown? Until the ocean finally reveals the truth, the Waratah will remain a ghost, a silent giant lost to the deep, drifting forever in the imagination of all who hear its story.